Holy shit. I mean, holy shit. People have been using the term birther to literally make fun of people that were making claims that President Obama was not a naturally born citizen and that he shouldn't have been elected to the presidency because of the same. So whoever made up this term birthers did it in a way that, the general population of America, the sheeple as I like to refer to them, would just be like, oh, those silly birthers. Oh, they're just being silly again. What? I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read this. A lawyer representing U.S. President Barack Obama has admitted the long-form birth certificate presented by the White House last year is a forgery. I'm going to read that again. A lawyer representing U.S. President Barack Obama has admitted the long-form birth certificate presented by the White House last year is a forgery. But that does not disqualify him from appearing on the ballot this November. This is going on in New Jersey. I'm going to keep reading. Defense attorney Alexandra M. Hill made the comments during a recent New Jersey ballot challenge hearing, brought about by Tea Party members who questioned his eligibility to appear on the state's presidential primary ballot. Attorney for the plaintiffs, Mario Apuzzo, argued that President Obama has furnished proof of his natural-born citizenship status to the state of New Jersey. Apuzzo went on to say that Obama's father was not an American citizen, meaning President Obama is not a natural-born citizen and ineligible for the office he holds. Hill tried to dismiss this suit because while the U.S. Constitution limits the office of president to only those who have a natural-born citizenship status, New Jersey law does not require a candidate to furnish proof of his or her status. Hill went on to admit that the long-form birth certificate released online by the White House is indeed a forgery that did not originate from an actual paper document, and therefore it cannot be used as evidence to confirm his lack of natural-born citizenship status. Oh! I'm going to keep reading this and then I'm going to fucking rant. The issue of the birth certificate is irrelevant to his placement on the ballot, Hill contended. President Obama's birth certificate was likely part of a contrived plot by counterfeiters to endow Obama with mere political support while simultaneously making the image intentionally appear absurd and, therefore, invalid as evidence toward proving Obama ineligibility in a court of law. Questions about the long-form birth certificate's validity were raised days after it was released, the same day, actually. Several people have released videos showing how the virtual document is comprised of layers, showing it was created using image-enhancing computer software. Last month, a Maricopa County law enforcement agency ended a 6-month-long probe of the document, concluding the birth certificate is not authentic. Hill went on to contort reasoning by implying that Obama needs only invoke his political popularity, not legal qualifications, in order to be a candidate. Judge Mason denied the motion to dismiss, and the case proceeded to trial. Okay. The first thing I'm fucking pissed off about is that yet again, a small group of fucking people said, I got a question. Is he eligible? And everybody else and their grandmother was like, oh, you're fucking crazy. You're silly. You're silly. You know, you're a birther. Let's put a term on you that just makes you sound stupid. And the mainstream media will continue to make you sound stupid. Then this shit came out pretty much a year ago. A year and 17 days ago. It came out on whitehouse.gov. And everybody and their grandmother started going apeshit that it was an obvious fake. Everybody. And again, I should say everybody that had a head on their shoulders. Now, I make most of my videos both-sided, and I'll do it again. Again, I'll state that, yeah, there's fucking assholes out there that would just do whatever they could to make shit up about President Obama. I completely agree with you, and they're assholes for doing it. I'm not arguing that point. My problem is that those weren't the only people doing this. There were people that had an actual question about this. They weren't being assholes about it. They weren't being racist. They were just saying, hey, this is a fucking rule to be president. That was it. That was all they were asking. And people made them look like morons. And they were right. Not the people that made them look like morons, the people that questioned this were absolutely right. Especially a year ago when the fake document was released by the White House on their website. This is huge. This is gigantic. The lawyers just admitted it's a fake. It's a fucking fake. Get over it, people. The birthers were right. Sorry, but they were. So here's my other half of this. The lawyers say that don't matter. It was such an obvious fake. This is what they're saying. If you couldn't understand it, I'll explain it. They're saying that because it was such an obvious fake that it can't be used to say he's not a natural-born citizen. Do you get that? Do you understand what they're saying? They're saying it's such an obvious fucking fake that it doesn't matter. So we jump through one fucking hoop. There's one hoop. You know, the birthers, guess what? They were right. They were absolutely right. That hoop's been jumped through. You're not seeing it in the media anywhere. Where in the mainstream media are you seeing this? I haven't. I'm not really looking for it in the mainstream media, you know, but I did. I just looked for it. I don't watch mainstream media is what I meant. But yeah. Anybody else heard of this yet? That it is a fake? That they had to admit it was a fake under perjury, you know? They would have perjured themselves if they hadn't admitted it, pretty much, is what it came down to. But they're saying because it's such an obvious fake that everybody should have known it. Well, we did. Most of us that gave a shit did know it was a fake. But they're using that to their advantage, saying that it was such an obvious fake that it should have no bearing. Okay, so currently there are 6 states that are saying, hey, we're not so sure President Obama is going to be allowed on our ballot this year because we need proof before we allow that to happen. So that's 6 out of 50. Now, my point of this is not to badmouth the president. My point of this is not to... No, my point is that I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed that, yet again, the masses ridicule the few who choose to question. And it's been going on for a couple years now. And now when it's finally fucking known that the few were right and that the masses were wrong to ridicule, it's nowhere. It's nowhere to be found. You might not ever hear about this. I have a problem with that. That's my problem. And I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. You know, where are we at now? I mean, what do you do? He's already been in office. You know, I mean, I don't know. But guess what? Just because somebody says something that sounds out of the box, or because somebody questions something, and it might not be something that you choose to question, doesn't make them wrong, and it doesn't give you the right to think that you're better than them. Especially in cases like this. Rant over.